Good morning. Welcome in. It's time for another installment of Trust Matters, Real Estate and Estate Planning Solutions with Gateville Law Firm's Sean Robertson. And Sean, thanks for joining us today. Another fun show. We got some good info for our listeners. How are we doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you doing, Mike?
Doing good, thanks. And today we're going to be focusing on estate planning and kind of focused on not just that in general, but kind of zeroing in on a topic of parents that have young children. And where are we going to go on this topic today?
Yeah, I think where we're going to go is I think for parents with young children, picking a guardian is really important. And generally, there's two types of guardians. One is a guardian that is of the person, which basically makes medical decisions, educational decisions. And then the second type of guardian is a guardian of the estate or the finances. So a lot of times when we do estate planning interviews, you don't necessarily combine both roles. Sometimes you can, meaning some people fit meaning they can make parental decisions and handle the finances.
Okay.
But in many cases, what we find after counseling parents is that one person's really good with money, but they may not be a good parent, or they may not be the best parent, where a lot of times that's kind of what we do is discuss different options with parents on who's a suitable guardian. And number two is, and what we find a lot of times too is when you come to revocable living trust, a lot of people don't like the idea of minor children getting money because it's a probate issue. Or if you have children that are young, you don't want them to get their money at age 18.
Okay. So when you have, like you mentioned at the outset, the case of one guardian might be good for the finances, one guardian might be better as a parent, that type of thing. Can you have multiple guardians? Can you set it up that way, or do you have to pick one? How does that work?
Yeah, that's a good question. So normally people pick one person or a couple, and a lot of times what they don't think about is what happens if that couple goes through a divorce. For a lot of people, they don't care, but for some people, they do. So normally what we do is we counsel people on having multiple backups, and the reason why is, life happens, deaths happen. You just never know when you may need a backup.
Yeah, you probably have some examples of lots of different things that have happened in the past that have been a complicated situation for sure, huh?
Absolutely correct.
Yeah, but that's with the revocable living trust and the children's trust. What are some of the other points in that you want to let our listeners know about? Because that's probably something folks don't know a lot about when you get down to the finer details of it.
Absolutely. So what a trust is it's a legal arrangement that parents can make. And in that trust, you can create the ability to create what they call a subtrust. And upon both parents' deaths, a trust can be created for their children. And really the purpose of that is to avoid probate. And number two, because they want to put certain restrictions on their kids, meaning like, for example, they don't want their kids getting access to the funds until 25, maybe half at 25, and then maybe half at 30. But these are the type of things we discuss with parents during an estate planning interview.
And then picking successor trustees and backup trustees, as we mentioned, having that group of folks that you want to plan ahead and then even further ahead for those types of situations.
Correct. And I will say this too. This is what they call a revocable trust, meaning you can change your mind, you can alter it. So just because you choose one guardian or a couple now doesn't mean 2 years from now you can't change your mind.
And I know you say this a lot, and the important thing is the person's controlling their decisions by doing this stuff.
Correct. You don't have the government making the decisions. You don't have a stranger that doesn't know you making the decisions. These
are the types of things that people don't either want to think about, because they're talking about their own demise and setting something up for when they're not here anymore. But it's so important to get this stuff set up.
Yeah, like for example, I just had a client, unfortunately, that died last Friday of cancer. And, she was in her 30s and she had minor kids. And, for somebody like that, it becomes a really important decision. And one of the things that gets a lot of parents is when they start thinking about their maybe their kid's parent or grandkids or grandparents thinking about their kids' parents. they may not want them in charge of money. A lot of times they've had custody problems, they've had disputes, and so that really rubs them the wrong way, where if you do nothing, you can't control those type of issues.
This is really important stuff. You can find out more by contacting the folks at Gateville Law Firm. Sean Robertson is who we've been talking to, and he's available at 630-780-1034. You can also go to gatevillelawfirm.com. And they're based out of Yorkville, but you can do a phone interview with the folks at Gateville. You can do a video meeting as well and save yourself a drive. Maybe you're from far away. They'll be happy to talk to you and give you all the information over the phone. It is our Trust Matters Real Estate and Estate Planning Solutions program. We'll see you again next time.